everybody, in this video you're learning about the differences between let, var, and const. So you will maybe see people who actually declare their variables with let, var, or const, and they don't really explain what are the differences. So in this video I'm going to be talking about the differences between let, var, and const. So let's get started. So here I have an MD file, and this is just a preview of the MD file, and you can actually take kind of like a screenshot of the screen right now. Then if you do that, you can actually use this later as reference. Okay, so let's get started. So here are all of the differences. So we'll be talking about the let, var, and const keywords, right? So we'll be talking about the differences. So the first difference is that let variables, when you declare them, they're block scoped. Okay, whereas when you declare a var variable, they're function scoped. So let me actually show you this in action. Okay, so I can just create an index HTML file. HTML, and I can just run the boilerplate code. I can just leave it as documented. I can have a script source /app.js. Create that app.js. Nice. Now what I can do inside of this app.js is I can go ahead and actually the text was a little bit small there. So now you can take a screenshot because right now it should have been bigger. So sorry for that. So inside of app.js, we can have like an if statement, which runs if it's true, that means it will always run whatsoever. If true, then what we will do is we'll do var, or we can just do var variable equal to I am the var variable. Nice. And now I can just console log var variable. So, and I can have another statement which also runs if it's true, and then I can do what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy this line, I'm gonna paste it. Here I'm gonna declare that with let, and I'm gonna say let variable. You're also on the let variable, right? I console log this. Right, so let me actually explain this. So I said that var variables are function scoped, right? So that means they're available throughout the whole function that they're actually available, that they're actually put inside. So in this case, we don't even actually have a function. So this var variable is going to be there everywhere. Okay, it's going to be globally there. So we can access it from anywhere, okay? But like I said, let variables are block scope. That means they can only be accessed inside of, like the conditional statement, like if statement or like a loop or something like that, right? They can only be accessed inside of there. They cannot be accessed outside of the if statement or the loop. So now if I actually open up index.html with my live server, okay, now when I open up the console, it gives us an error, right? So I'm gonna put this like this. It's too much. So for the first one, we said console log var variable. That came through, right? I'm the var variable. But when we did console log let variable, it gave us an error. That let variable was not defined. But if we actually put this console log inside of this if statement, now as you can see, we have it. So basically, this is proven that var variables are function scope, means they can be accessed anywhere inside of the function. And if there is no function, they can be accessed everywhere globally. And then for let variables, they're block scope. Okay, so block scope means they can only be accessed inside of the if statement or loop they're declared in. So in our case, inside of an if statement, when we try to go outside of the if statement and actually print out the value of let variable, it actually gave us an error. So we can only access let variables inside of the block that's been declared. I mean, it's the if statement or like a loop or something like that. So that was the first difference. Now let's take a look at the second difference. Okay. So next is about const. So const variables are not allowed to be reassigned, and they are also block scope. So let me explain this right now. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to declare a const variable. I'm going to say like name, and I'm going to set that to like object. So const is used for like security purposes. Okay. For example, by mistake, if you go ahead and declare like a let variable, okay, and then by mistake you didn't want to reassign that variable, but you reassigned it by mistake, then your program breaks that and this, right? But we actually want security on that, then we will use const. So const, there is no way that it can be reassigned. So I try to do name is equal to some other value, so okay. Now if I go back, it gives us an error. That's it. Like, no, there's no way we can reassign a const variable. So it says uncut type error assignment to a constant variable. So assignment to a constant variable is not possible. But we had like, like an array of objects. Or I'm just gonna make it simple, an object. And here we had name, colon, and then whatever the name is. And then we do name dot name, which is the key inside of that object. Then we can actually set that to object without any problems. So we cannot completely, I guess I have put, okay, yeah, it cannot be completely reassigned, okay. So if you have a string, just a parallel string there, you cannot completely reassign that the const variable. But if we have like an object or an array, we can actually reassign the properties inside of that object or array. Okay, that's another point to keep in mind. Okay, yeah, nice. So var variables can be redeclared multiple times, whereas let and const cannot be redeclared. So this means that inside of this if statement we have that, right? Now you're gonna actually comment out this const. Okay, keep that there. So inside of this if statement we have var variable, but we can completely redeclare it by just saying var variable, which is the name right here, and is equal to some other values. So like test. Now if I hit save and I come back, it returns test, which is the value of var variable right now. What this does is it destroys this variable, this one right here, and it kind of creates a new one, or it completely destroys it and it creates a new one. And then we'll be using that new variable from after that. The old one is just completely destroyed. So it's going to completely reassign that full variable. Okay, that's another difference to keep in mind. So the next difference is that var allows us to actually use a var variable itself before it's been declared. So if I do console log, if I go ahead and say var variable, now if I hit save, it returns undefined. But where is this var variable declared, guys? It's declared right over here. Or, oh, I can just remove that. So now it's declared right over there, right? But because of this factor, or because of this point of a var variable, we can actually use a var variable before it's been declared. Until it's been declared, its value is going to be set to undefined. Okay. Until it's been declared, its value will be undefined, and that's a data type in JavaScript. Actually, if I comment that. Okay. So let's talk about the next difference. Also, if I try to do this with a let variable, then it's simply going to throw an error. Uncut reference error, var variable. Fine. So that var variable is this one. Okay, next difference, which is the last one. Now I'm just gonna make this screen. What do I need? Nice. So the next difference is that let and const variables are completely same, except for that const variable cannot be completely reassigned, right? That's a point that I made. Whereas let variables can be completely reassigned. So let me show you this in action. Actually, I've already shown you that last point, but I'm just going to show it again. So const variables cannot be completely reassigned. So if I have a string right over here, if I say option, then I cannot reassign that. You already saw that. But if I have like an object with the name key and the value option, then I can actually reassign the value of the key inside of that the value of the key inside of that object. Okay, we cannot completely reassign it. Whereas with let variables, we can completely reassign. You already should have understood that by now. So basically, those were the differences between lets and let const and var variables. So yeah, with that, I hope you have understood about the differences between let, const, and var. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so that I can produce more and more videos like this one. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.